One, and we are restarting again. We have been trying to be on so many times. Let's see how it goes this time. Yes, as you can see, proof we are at the end of the age, the time of the end. We are looking today into the Daniel 70-week prophecy. And I can tell you that this has revealed so much to me. And I know when you watch it, it can reveal so much to you as well. For those of us who are occupied in prophecy, for those of us who are looking as to what the Most High's plan is for this world, what the Most High's plan is for his people, looking at the end times, this will be something, a treat for us, because it has opened up a lot of things that many people have not seen and many people will not see. So let's look at the prophecy at hand. It is in the book of Daniel, chapter 9, verses 24 to 27. Could you read it, please?
70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the Prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
Boy, that is a headache. That is hard to understand, isn't it? But we're going to approach it as we have always approached every scripture. Precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line upon line, here a little, there a little. So we're going to lay a foundation for this and break it down little by little. First of all, we're going to start when are the latter days? Because this prophecy, there is a confusion as to when this prophecy is for. Some believe, oh, this has happened already. Some believe that it is for now. Some believe it is even after the millennial reign. But Daniel told us that these prophecies are for the latter days. And we want to look into when are the latter days. When does the Bible actually point to latter days? So let's go to the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verses 30 to 31. The latter days. What will happen in the latter days will let us know what the part that Daniel's prophecy plays in the latter days. Read, please. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verses 30 to 31.
When thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to yahuwah thy Elohah, and shall be obedient unto his voice, for yahuwah thy Elohah is a merciful Elohah. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers which he sware unto them.
This is throwing me off totally. I can't even concentrate. I'm telling you that this is a spiritual battle. This is probably the most revealing teaching we have done in quite some time. Everything. Are we still on YouTube? Huh? It's gone? Are we still on? All right, checking if we are still on or we got bumped off. We are still on? Huh? Okay, all right. All right, so, yeah. So when thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to Yahuwah thy Elohim and shall be obedient unto his voice, for Yahuwah thy Elohim is a merciful Elohim, he will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers which he sware unto them. That is telling you, in the latter days, the Most High will remember his covenant. And the latter there comes from the Greek word acharith, which means the last or end. Hence the future, also posterity. So it can mean the end or it can mean forever. It can mean latter or later. In Hinda, which means the last part, and remnant residue. So that really doesn't tell us more, but we'll look into more verses to get understanding of the latter. So the latter days can refer to before Yasharal returns to Yahuwah. The latter days can relate to before Yasharal returns to Yahuwah, which is this time that we are in. Our nation has not yet turned back to our Father. All right, let's go to Hosea 3, verses 1 to 5 to show us what will happen in the latter days. We are using these to lay a foundation to know when this prophecy is relating to. Hosea 3, verse 1.
I got nothing on here, but
Oh. I didn't sign back in.
I don't know.
All right, let me see. It's there. And the bar is not muted.
There you go.
It's there?
Yeah, got it now.
All right, go ahead.
Hosea 3, verse 1 to 5. Then said Yahuwah unto me, Go yet, love a woman beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress, according to the love of Yahuwah toward the children of Yasharal, who look to other Elohim and love flagons of wine. So I bought her to me for 15 pieces of silver, and for an homer of barley, and an half homer of barley.
Mm-hmm.
And I said unto her, Thou shalt abide for me many days. Thou shalt not play the harlot, and thou shalt not be for another man. So will I also be for thee. For the children of Yasharal shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim.
Mm-hmm.
Afterward shall the children of Yasharal return, and seek Yahuwah their Elohim, and David their king, and shall fear Yahuwah and his goodness in the latter days.
So in the latter days, the children of Yasharal will be without a king and without a prince and without a sacrifice, just as it is right now. Our nation, our people have not yet been gathered together. So we are without a king, without a prince. These are the latter days. So the latter days, some people think that the latter days refers to after the 1,000-year reign, in which it can. But what we're going to show today is the dual operation of prophecies. That a prophecy will take place 2,000 years ago, and then it is manifested and played out again 2,000 years after. And that is why the Bible is so powerful, because the Bible shows things that keep happening over and over. It does not show an event, and that event just stops and nothing else happens. It shows an event that may point to another event that will take place again hundreds or thousands of years after. So in the book of Yechezkel, in the book of Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 16, when it speaks about Gog, it is those who are in the prophetic circles, it is widely believed that when it speaks about Gog, and Gog here is speaking about Russia, Gog and Magog. When it speaks about Gog, it is actually speaking about after the 1,000-year reign, because Ezekiel 38 points you to the time after the 1,000-year reign when the children of Israel are settled in. But it also points to the end of this age as well. And we see the organization called BRICS that is building up. And who is there heading BRICS? Gog. It is Russia. It is Putin who is out front with the BRICS nations. So the Gog will play a part at the end of this age, and will also play a part again at the end of the 1,000-year reign, when the nations come together again to try to fight against the children of Israel and to fight against the Most High. So let's go to Ezekiel 38:16.
And thou shalt come up against my people of Yasharal, as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes.
So many people believe that because Israel, or the children of Yasharal as a nation, are not gathered together, that this is not for them. It is for when they are gathered together in the 1,000-year reign, then these nations will come again. But he will bring his people in his nation. Remember, if you go back to the Old Testament, when the children of Israel were going into the land, they fought many battles. And it is going to be the same thing again. When his people are to be brought into the land, they will be fighting the nations. Why? It will be a battle of world dominance. The Most High is going to take a nation, the children of Israel, take them, bring them into a land, and they are going to rule the world. Do you think the other nations are going to just sit back like that? It has to be the rulers of the order of this world who will be seeking to unseat the children of Israel. And we see the BRICS nations being put up as the alternative to the United States as the world power in the end, in this their new world order. Okay? Let's go to Ezekiel 38:8.
After many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people, against the mountains of Yasharal, which have been always waste. But it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them.
So some people translate this to mean that this is saying after the millennial reign. But look at what he's saying. That is brought back from the sword and is gathered out of many people, which have always been waste. So it had been waste, and it had been built up and brought forth out of many nations, gathered out of many nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. So when the children of Yasharal are dwelling safely, they will come. Verse 9.
Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands and many people with thee.
All right, so some people believe that this is after the millennial reign, but I do believe it is both before and after, because every other time when the latter days are mentioned, it has to do with before the millennial reign. Okay? So the latter days also equal the time of the end, which is before the millennial reign. We just looked at it, but let's get more evidence again to show that the latter days usually refers to before the millennial reign. Matthew 24 verses 10 to 13.
And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
Unto the end, the latter days, those who go unto the end. Matthew 13, 40 to 42. That was just a foundation. Time of the end. Go ahead.
As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world.
The end of this world.
The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity.
Continue.
And shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth.
So the latter days is also the time of the end of the world. And the internet has gone again. Oh boy. Well, I'm recording it, so let's hope it comes back. Come back, come back. Let me see if I can switch this thing. Oh, it's back? Huh? All of yours. The thing with this, it goes down and then it comes back up. Playing games. Oh boy. All right. So, and it's still at 0. Is it still on? What, it got cut off? Oh man. I guess I'll just have to record it and put it up. Huh? Well, who sent a message? Yeah, just do that for me, please. Just tell him I'll have to record it and put it up. They should be here anyway. Yeah, so I'll just record it and put it up.
Just tell me the scripture references, that's all.
Yeah.
I got nothing on here.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go to the book of Zechariah 1 now. So we just want to lay the foundation of the latter days, being our time, referring to the latter days. So this we're gonna look now at the 4 horns. Problems upon problems. The 4 horns which scattered Judah and the restoration of Jerusalem. Zechariah 1 verses 18 to 21. Zechariah 1, 18 to 21. We're going to start from the foundation. We're starting from the foundation. Zechariah 1, 18 to 21.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Then lifted I up mine eyes and saw, and beheld 4 horns.
Mm-hmm.
And I said unto the angel that talked with me, What be these? And he answered me, These are the horns which have scattered Judah, Yasharal, and Jerusalem.
All right, so I'll try to break this down as much as possible. Whenever we see in prophecy, we see horns, it means powers. It means powers. So it might mean powerful nations. So when you see 4 horns, these are 4 powerful nations. These are the horns, these are the powerful nations which scattered Judah, Yasharal, or Israel, and Jerusalem. Verse 20.
And Yahuwah...
No, it's not 20, it's about 18. So these are the 4 horns. Let me see where it stops. Yeah, 21. Go to 20 and 21.
And Yahuwah showed me 4 carpenters.
So we have 4 horns. These are the 4 powers that brought Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem into captivity. And verse 20 now, 4 carpenters. Go ahead.
Verse 21.
20.
And Yahuwah showed me 4 carpenters.
Mm-hmm.
Then said I, What come these to do? And he spake, saying, These are the horns which have scattered Judah, so that no man did lift up his head. But these are come to fray them, to cast out the horns of the Gentiles, which lifted up their horn over the land of Judah to scatter it.
So the Most High sent 4 carpenters. You have 4 horns, 4 powerful nations in this world who have scattered our people, the house of Judah. And he said he has sent 4 carpenters. And you know that what carpenters do, carpenters build. Mm-hmm. And these, he said, are to come to fray them, to get rid of these 4 powerful nations, and to cast out the power of the Gentiles, so that they will no longer have power over the house of Judah. So let's look at the restoration of Jerusalem, just 1 chapter over, Zechariah 2 verse 1 to 13. Let's look at how these carpenters are going to restore Jerusalem. Zechariah 2 1 to 13.
I lifted up mine eyes again and looked, and behold, a man with a measuring line in his hand. Then said I, Whither goest thou? And he said unto me, To measure Jerusalem, to see what is the breadth thereof, and what is the length thereof. And behold, the angel that talked with me went forth, and another angel went out to meet him. And he said unto him, Run, speak to this young man, saying, Jerusalem shall be inhabited as towns without walls, for the multitude of men and cattle therein. For I, says Yahuwah, will be unto her a wall of fire round about, and will be the splendor in the midst of her. Ho, ho, come forth, and flee from the land of the north, says Yahuwah. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven, says Yahuwah.
All right. For I, says Yahuwah, be unto her a wall of fire round about, and will be the splendor in the midst of her. Let me see if we can get the people on Zoom. On mute. I hope it doesn't get cut off again. All right. So it says, Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. So this is telling us that our people will be in Babylon, and we have to deliver ourselves out of Babylon for the house of Judah and Israel itself to be gathered together in the latter days. Verse 8.
For thus says Yahuwah of hosts, After the splendor hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. For behold, I will shake mine hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants, and ye shall know that Yahuwah of hosts hath sent me.
Right, continue.
Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion, for lo, I come, and I will dwell in the midst of thee, says Yahuwah.
Verse 11.
And many nations shall be joined to Yahuwah in that day, and shall be my people, and I will dwell in the midst of thee, and thou shalt know that Yahuwah of hosts hath sent me unto thee. And Yahuwah shall inherit Judah, his portion, in the Holy Land, and shall choose Jerusalem again.
So the Daniel prophecy is just pointing back to this, when the Most High inherits Jerusalem again. So these are the four horns which scattered Judah. Let's look at the similitude in Daniel, the four kingdoms on the earth, which all had Judah in captivity. These are the four horns which scattered Judah. Daniel 2:31 to 45. Daniel chapter 2, 31 to 45. These are the four horns in the book of Zechariah that scattered Judah. Go ahead.
Thou, O king.
Sorry. This is Daniel explaining Nebuchadnezzar's dream. And Nebuchadnezzar's dream was about these four horns that scattered Judah. Go ahead.
Thou, O king, sawest, and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth.
Now Daniel is going to interpret the dream now.
Verse 36. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for Yahuwah of heaven has given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and splendor. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the heaven, has he given into thine hand, and has made thee ruler over them all. thou art this head of gold.
So this is the first horn that scattered Judah. This is Babylon. The first power or horn that scattered Judah is Babylon, the head of gold. And we know the head controls the entire body. That is why in the end time we are in Babylon, being controlled in Babylon. The head has the brain, makes the decision. It has the eyes, it has the ears, it has the nose, it has the mouth. It controls everything in over the body. So the entire world is controlled through Babylon, the head of gold. Continue.
And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth.
All right, so this second kingdom is the kingdom of the Medo-Persians. And then the third kingdom, kingdom of brass, is the kingdom of the Greeks. These were three kingdoms that bear rule over the entire earth, had great, powerful kingdoms, and had the children of Judah in captivity in them. The fourth kingdom is the kingdom of the Romans, a kingdom that is still ruling the world today, the children of Edom. Continue verse 40.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay.
So the kingdom was there before, and we know the Roman Empire that spanned much of Europe, one of the biggest empires in history, the Roman Empire. But then the Roman Empire broke up, and then we had the Holy Roman Empire. That broke up. But the Romans, because they had spread themselves among the different peoples of the earth, wherever their people are, they bring the same Roman system with them. So having dominated much of Western Europe, Southern Europe, Central Europe, Eastern Asia, Northern Africa, they have infiltrated many nations, and these nations span from Great Britain, France, Portugal, Netherlands, the Americans, who are the descendants of the British, and Germans and Austrians and Belgians and all sorts of Ans and Eons. These are the children of Edom. These are the fourth kingdom. So what they did, they set up their system among their people, and wherever their people went, they brought that system with them. That is why the world is run by the Western powers and dominated and dictated too by the Western white nations, the children of Edom. But it's telling you about in the end, when they shall put themselves together with feet of and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron. They are going to have, as they do today, a new world order where all the nations of the earth come together, the strong nations and the weak nations, mixing themselves together. And it says, but there shall be in it the strength of the iron, but you're going to have the strength of the iron, but it's going to be mixed with clay. And this iron and clay has dual meaning again, like many scriptures. The iron and clay refers to the that thing that we're going to look at later, the abomination of desolation, and we're going to look at it later. Continue.
Verse 42. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay.
So this has dual meaning again. Mingling themselves with the seed of men has to do with that abomination of desolation that they will put in
The harm in the arm.
that they will put in your arm, to try to mingle themselves with the seed of men, with their engineering. We won't go into that. But the other aspect of it is that they will mingle themselves with the seed of men, meaning that they have a new world order, as they have today, where in every single nation they try to bring them together. But the nations shall not cleave one to another, as we are seeing. We are hearing that India and China, both of them in BRICS, but both of them having border dispute. And who else has problems again? Many different nations today are having problems together, and they say that they are in a one world order. We see the in Western Africa, the nations are kicking out France. The nations are in a they are not cleaving one to another at all. Verse 44.
And in the days of these kings shall the allure of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
And it shall stand forever. This is the kingdom in the book of Daniel. That is where we are going. Verse 45.
For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great allure hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure.
The dream is certain, and the interpretation sure. Now, as we were saying, the prophecy might point to something back then, but thousands of years later, it is going to point to another thing. The important thing to understand is that these four kingdoms will be manifested in the end time. The New World Order, fourth industrial revolution kingdom that is upon this earth is a mirror of these four nations. So that is why when that disease came out, that disease that came out upon this earth, and you can't even call the name, the one that starts with a C and ends with a number, when that came out, the names of the variants were in Greek. Why is that in Greek? Because it has to mirror the Greek kingdom. And there are some aspects of it which will be from Rome, some from Greece, some from Medo-Persia. And of course, Babylon is the star of it all. Babylon is the star of the show. It is the head of gold. So the similitude of these four kingdoms in the latter days. Revelation 13, 1 to 10 tells us about this similitude. Revelation 13, 1 to 10 tells us about this similitude in this end time. For those who might find difficulty in understanding this, you might have to watch this again. Go ahead, please.
And I saw upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
So this is what will happen in the end time. This is what will happen in the time of the end. Boy, the internet trip. Not even the people on Zoom can get to see it. Wasn't it yesterday we were speaking about the people like staying in Babylon and trying and getting all the food?
Yeah, so much information.
Getting so much information and refusing to do anything about it. Is it?
Famine.
The famine of the word. It came up again. All right, so
This is a warning, though, isn't it?
yep. Famine of the word coming up soon. All right. So Revelation 13:10, verse 2 tells us the similitude that this nation, this beast, and of course, for those who are new to this, the beast does not refer to a literal beast. It refers to a nation that is so powerful, it is like a beast. So when it says about beast, it is a nation or a group of nations that dominate the entire earth. So this beast that has risen up out of the sea in the world today takes the form of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the group of nations that is the most powerful military alliance in the history of the world. This military alliance that everyone believes that no one can defeat. Who can make war with the beast? All right? Being led by the G7 nations. This is the 7 heads of the beast. Continue, please.
Revelation 13, verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
All right, these 3 here, I think the lion is Babylon, represents Babylon. I don't remember the order. But these 3 represent the leopard, the bear, and the lion represent 3 of the 4 powers that dominated the earth. And look who gave them authority. Continue. And the dragon?
And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat and great authority.
So what we are saying that the similitude of this nation, these nations are upon the earth today. So when we look at the old prophecies, it will give us insights and give us warnings and understanding as to how things will happen in the end time. Continue.
And
No,
I saw
no.
one.
No. I just wanted to see the similitude. All right. Let's go to verse 6. Yeah. No. No, we're going to use 5. So let's go to 6.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Allure, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven.
7.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds, and tongues, and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world.
So this beast, this system that is going to come upon the earth, the whole world shall worship the system. And if you had been watching our teachings, we showed you that worship does not mean you bow down and worship as you worship the Most High. Worship actually means looking to the system for help. That is worship. Okay? Let me just quickly go to Matthew 8. I think it's Matthew 8 to see the example of what I'm talking about. Matthew 8, I think it's about verse 15. Matthew 8, verse, where is it? Earlier verse. All right, let me see if I can get it. My memory is not so good. Oh man, I can't find it. Yeah, just want to illustrate the worship, so we do not get confused. Let me go to the book of Matthew chapter. Let me see how near it was. Matthew chapter 8. Verse 2. Matthew 8, verse 2.
And behold, there came a leper, and worshipped him, saying, Master, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean.
That's what we're talking about, worship. When the Bible talks about worship, it does not mean bowing down. It is actually looking for someone, believing that person can help you. So when it says you worship the beast in the book of Revelation, it means you look to this world system that is upon this earth as your only source of help, looking to them to help you, and are willing to do anything to get them to help you. Okay? So let's go back now to the point that Yasharal was forced to worship the beast, or Yasharal is forced to worship the beast in modern Babylon. We're going to show you that things do not change. Linking up the book of Daniel with today, we see that nothing has changed. The children of Yasharal were forced to worship the beast in, or are forced to worship the beast in modern Babylon today. That's why it says they worship the beast, those whose names are not written in the Lamb's book of life. We are forced to worship the beast in modern Babylon, and we go back to old Babylon and see that they were also forced to worship the beast. Revelation 14, verses 6 to 13. It's coming from Revelation 13, verse 8, that says, "And all that dwelleth upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the earth." And Revelation 14, verse 6 tells you about this worship. What format will this worship take? Read, please.
And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting message to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear Allure, and give splendor to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth, and the sea and the foundation and the fountains of waters.
You see this declaration, fear Allure and give splendor to him, not to any man or any organization or any country. Fear Yahuwah. If we fear Yahuwah, then we will not worship the beast. Verse 8.
And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
This shows you that it is Babylon that is going to mastermind this end time worship of the beast. Yeah? But the angel said, Babylon is fallen. So what is actually telling you? Do not look to Babylon for help, because Babylon is fallen. Babylon looks good, and everything looks, yes, like there's a lot of hope in this world, a lot of hope in Babylon. But the angel is telling you that Babylon is already fallen. Give splendor to the Most High and forget about Babylon. Verse 9.
And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Allure, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb.
All right, so here is the worship. This is the nature that the worship will take. If any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, and we see the judgment, drinking of the wine of the wrath of Allure. This is the mark of the beast, abomination of desolation. This is the warning where it is concerned. So Babylon is fallen, but people will be following Babylon to try to maintain themselves in Babylon. Verse 11.
And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up for ever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name.
Verse 12.
Here is the patience of the saints.
That's it.
Here are they that keep the commandments of Allure and the faith of Yahusha.
So here's this now. The people who will not worship the beast will be the saints. And the saints are characterized by keeping the commandments of the Most High and having the emunah of Yahusha. Because it takes emunah to reject the mark of the beast, abomination of desolation. Because Babylon is going to present you with an option. If you don't take this thing, you cannot work. If you don't take this thing, you're going to get sick. If you don't take this thing, you're going to die. If you don't take this thing, your child cannot go to school. If you don't take this thing, you cannot travel. If you don't take this thing, So it takes emunah to say, I don't care whether I live or I die. I am not going to take your abomination. Verse 13.
And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the Master from henceforth. Yes, said the Ruach, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them.
All right, so when you have the emunah of Yahusha and you keep the commandments of Allah, you are going to be willing to die rather than to worship the beast. Okay? So this is nothing new. This end time worship of the beast is nothing new. The house of Judah was forced to worship the beast in ancient Babylon at the time of Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel 3, starting at verse 1. Things repeat themselves. Things repeat themselves. Daniel chapter 3, starting at verse 1.
Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose
Hold on. What did it say in Revelation 14? If any man worship the beast and his image, there's nothing new. Daniel 3 verse 1. And we have a teaching on the image of the beast. Daniel 3 verse 1.
Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon.
Amikai, what do you see there? You don't see anything? Huh? 3 score is how much? 60. And the breadth 6. 6.
Uh-oh.
These are their numbers. Okay? And that is why in this abomination of desolation is the number 6. Even the GO, that oxide thing, that G oxide, it has 6 sides. It's 6, whatever you call it. 6 dimensional, something to do with 6. All right, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Yeah, and about 6 chemicals make it up. But of course, you cannot speak on YouTube about these things. Daniel 3 verse 2.
Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
Now, people, I want you to think. When that disease came out, and they came with that so-called cure for that disease, who were gathered together? Was it the common people? It was the prime ministers, the presidents, high-ranking people, the rich people of this earth who came together and were excited. I remember when the first shipment came to Jamaica while I was there, and it was on television. The prime minister went out there with the boxes and they stood looking at the boxes as if it was a mighty one. And they had speech about the boxes that were in there. Yes, they gathered together, the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Verse 3.
Then the princes, the governors and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up.
Continue, I said they stood before the things of the vial. And I remember one time back in those days, I don't know if you remember, one of the vials got stolen. You remember? Yeah. One single one got stolen. Man, the whole country turned upside down. Big thing. Can't allow this to happen. One single vial was stolen. Nothing has changed. People, continue.
Then an herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up.
All right, so they didn't use music, but they made a call and say, everyone need to come and take this thing.
They use the media.
Yeah, they use the media. And as they talk about music as well, you know, Satan's worship is done through music as well. This is another thing for another time to show you that music helps in idolatry, in the worship of the idols. Verse 6.
And whoso falleth not down and worshippeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
So let me tell you something, people. You think this is far from us? The next phase that they are going to come with, when they are going to come with no other sicknesses, because they are not done. When they are going to come with the other sicknesses, they're going to give zero tolerance this time. They're going to tell you if you don't take it, you're going to be cast in prison. And they're going to kill people for taking it. Mark my words, don't think that this is far-fetched. What they are doing in this world today, they are setting up their control. They are moving things in place so when they can have total power over the world, so that when they say this thing, nobody can say anything. Remember, their slogan is, you shall have nothing, but you will be happy. In other words, they're going to make us powerless. They're going to take away everything that we have, and we are going to be their slaves. That is their intention. Okay? So if we become their slaves, what do you think they're going to do? All those people who don't take this thing, they are going to have to be fugitives, because they're going to hunt them and say that they are the ones who are causing people to be sick. Yeah? Continue.
Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
All right. Worship that thing.
See, even in the churches, it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Churches fall to it.
Even the churches, because the churches are the tools of Babylon.
Became punchline centers.
Yeah. Churches were deceived. As the word says in Revelation 12:9, Satan has deceived the whole world. Anyway, continue.
Daniel 3 verse 8. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree, that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshippeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
All right, so likewise in the end, there are going to be some of our people who will refuse to do this. Then let's see what happened to them. Verse 13.
Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that allure that shall deliver you out of my hands?
All right. So you see this?
Threatening.
He causeth all. That is why the prophecy says he causeth all. He's not telling them to bow down. He's telling them to decide whether they should bow down. It's the same thing with this thing that they've given us. You have to decide whether you are going to take it or not. Continue.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our Yahuwah, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
Verse 19.
Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake, and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated.
All right, so verse 20.
And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace.
And we know the rest of the story, but the whole point is, then was Nebuchadnezzar, verse 19, full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed. The prophecy is for in the end time, there will be a leader of this new world order who will be what they call the Antichrist, the anti-Messiah. And he will be so evil. That is when the evil is going to really, really be multiplied upon this earth from the authorities, from this beast system. Okay? So that we saw that from Babylon. But Babylon is a tool in the Most High's hands. The Most High has provided Babylon, as we've shown several times before. He has provided Babylon as a tool to make the earth drunken and to make the earth mad. He has provided a tool so that his children, his people, can make a decision whether they are going to follow the drunkenness of Babylon or they are going to choose him, the Most High. As he said before with Moses, I put before you today life and death, good and evil. Therefore choose life. He puts both evil and good before us, but he tells us to choose that which is good. When he puts Babylon before us, then he puts the choice. It is up to us to decide whether we are going to reject Babylon or we are going to fall in the drunkenness of Babylon. Daniel chapter 4, verse 17. Daniel chapter 4, verse 17.
This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men.
This is just to let you know that the Most High is there, actively here with us in the kingdom of men. And he told that to Nebuchadnezzar, to let Nebuchadnezzar know that what he was doing with Babylon is that he rules and he gives it to whomever he wishes, because he uses Babylon as a tool, as it says in Jeremiah 51, verse 7. Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand to make the earth mad. Jeremiah 51, verse 7.
Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad.
So the Most High gave us Babylon to make the nations mad. Why? Because he doesn't want the nations to have any part nor lot with him. Okay? The nations are to be made drunken because the nations are idolaters. They don't worship him. They worship idols. Therefore, Babylon is given to make the world drunk. But in the end, he says to his people, he puts his people into captivity in Babylon to test them and to perfect them. But in the end, he says that, flee out of the midst of Babylon, because when Babylon's time is full, the Most High is going to turn his wrath to punish Babylon for what they have done. He tells his children, his people, come out of her. so that when I pour out my wrath upon her, you will not fall with the rest of them. Revelation 18, 2-5. And even the people on Zoom are being locked out. Revelation 18, 2-5. Very sorry, but Most High is making a statement. Revelation 18, 2.
And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul ruachoth, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
All right, Babylon has become corrupted because, verse 3,
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
and sadly enough, this is what our people are running down. The riches of Babylon. Running down, wanting to be rich in Babylon. But what does the Most High say? Does he say, stay there and get rich? In verse 4, what does he say?
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
Okay, so we are advised to come out of her. And you can check up on Jubilees 15, 30-32, where the Most High tells us that he sends spirits to draw the nations away from him, but he does not send such spirits to the children of Israel because they are his people. But he does not want to have anything to do with the nations, so he gave us Babylon with all their false spirits to draw people away from him. This is a totally different mighty one from what is told us in Christianity. The Yahuwah, the mighty one, the true one of the Bible, he has his people, the children of Israel, and he does not want the nations to really have anything to do with him unless they are willing to give up their gods and give up their lives, even give up their people in order to serve him. Okay? All right, so let's look at these four beasts, these four nations again. The four beasts in Daniel chapter 7, verses 1-7. Remember, we started with the four horns that scattered Judah. All right? You want to pay attention because we're going different places. And Daniel 7, 1-7. Let me get there. Read, please.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and, behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
Again, let us remind us that when we say four great beasts, it means four great kingdoms on the earth. They are not literal beasts. They are four great kingdoms. All right, continue.
The first was like a lion.
All right, and remember when we were in Revelation 13, verse 2, it spoke about the lion, the leopard, and the bear. Continue. The first was like a lion.
The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
So this would be Babylon, right? Verse 5.
And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
So this is Medo Persia, and we're going to come up on this after. So we have Babylon again, Medo Persia again, and then the third beast, verse 6.
After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
All right, so we see this number 4 with the Greek kingdom that's going to come through again. We're going to look further along this number 4. This is the Greek kingdom, like a leopard. So we have the lion, Babylon, the bear, Medo-Persia, the leopard, the Greeks. Verse 7.
After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast.
All right, who is this now? The Romans, man. The great Romans. The wicked people who gave us Christianity. The wicked people who run and rule this world today. And the world is deceived, thinking that these people love them and these people have their welfare at heart. These people are wicked, wicked people. It's described here as the beast. Daniel 7 verse 7. Read again, please.
Somebody just said my mic's muted.
What? But I hear your. I'm hearing your mic. Check it.
Mic check, 1, 2.
Go again.
Mic check, 1, 2.
I don't know what's happening. Go ahead. I think maybe it's coming through the. Let me see something. I wonder if it's coming through here. Let me see something. Try.
Mic check, 1, 2. 1, 2. Mic check.
All right, go ahead.
Daniel 7 verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong, exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
All right, this is the Roman kingdom. This is a kingdom that is they're setting up in the world today. Had 10 horns, 10 regions of power that they plan to divide the world into 10 different departments. It was diverse from all the beasts in that it was a totally different kingdom. It is a new world order that now encompasses all the nations of the earth. Verse 8.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns, plucked up by the roots, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
All right, so this is what they call the anti-Messiah or the Antichrist, as they call him. He's going to come up in the end, and he is going to surface out of this great new world order that they are setting up. Verse 9.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire.
So you see the schedule of events right here. The Ancient of Days is going to come. Right. What we're going to show in the teaching today is that we are very, very, very close to the time of the end. We're going to see the prophecies and show how close we are to the time of the end. Very, very close. I hope you stay for this and see how very, very close it is. And I see now why the Most High has held this away from us, because he knows that I am a chatterbox, and he knows that everything I find out, I run and I tell people. And it can't go out before the time. Verse 10. Verse 10.
A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened.
Mm-hmm.
I beheld them because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame.
Mm-hmm.
As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time.
Oh, their lives were prolonged for a season and time. So what they did, they had their lives taken away. This is the end time, the latter days, no time. But their lives will be prolonged for them to rise up at the end of the millennial reign again. It's another proof that this is speaking about now. The latter days is speaking about now. Okay? Because remember, after the 1,000-year reign, they would all be destroyed. So if they're not destroyed now, that means it's not speaking about the millennial reign. Verse 13.
I saw. Oops.
In the night visions. Daniel 7, verse
Daniel
13.
7, verse 13. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion, and splendor, and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him.
All right.
His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
Okay, I think I'm going too far. So in verse 7 of Daniel 1, it says he had 10 horns. 10 horns. And if we go to Revelation 12, verse 1 to 6, we see this 10 horns. Again, what we are showing the prophecy in Daniel and then showing it in Revelation to show you the similitude so you can get to understand what is coming in the end. Daniel 12, what did I say? Verse 6? 1 to 6 or what?
1 to 6.
Daniel 12, 1 to 6. I mean, Revelation 12, 1 to 6, right?
Sorry, yeah.
Revelation 12, 1 to 6. He had 10 horns. Continue. And there appeared.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pained to be delivered.
All right. So, is this a part of this? No, but let me see if I looked it up. All right. So this is the Revelation 12 prophecy that took place on September 23rd, 2017. Yeah, I think we're going to look at this as matching up the timing with Daniel's timing. I think we're going to do that to get some more insight and to show us that we most definitely are in the last years of all of these prophecies. This took place in 2017. I thought that I had put up something about it, an image of it. This is when Venus was, the constellation of Leo was over Venus. And beside Venus, there was a sun and the moon, which it says with the sun and the moon under her feet. And upon her head, a crown of 12 stars. This was Leo, the lion of the tribe of, representing the lion of the tribe of Judah and the 12 tribes of Israel. This happened in the stars in 2017. Anyway, let's go to verse 2. Let me make sure because I had planned something. I had planned something to do with this and I don't see it. Anyway, let me just follow this. Maybe it's there somewhere. So, yeah. Continue, please.
Revelation 12, verse 2. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads.
So this is the 10 horns here. So if this happened 2017, that means the horns are either established or being established today. Verse 4.
And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
So the dragon here, Satan, his target is the children of the woman. And we know that the woman is Yasharal. That's why the woman had a crown of 12 stars over her head. These were the 12 tribes of Yasharal, the 12 tribes of Israel. So this dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered to devour her child. And we know that child is Hamashiach, the Messiah, Yahusha. Verse 5.
And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto Allur and to his throne.
On verse 6.
And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of Allur, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
So this is the fleeing in the wilderness. This is the end time call to flee out of the midst of Babylon. Flee into the wilderness for 1,203 score days. I think we're going to look at that as well. But what we want to look at is this word feed. I don't think we've ever looked at it before. That they should feed her there 1,260 days. Feed her. What does that word feed her in the wilderness mean? The word feed comes from the Greek word trepho, which means through the idea of convolution, properly to stiffen, that is fatten, by implication cherish, with food, etc., pamper, bring up, feed, nourish. So you see why we can't do without food?
Spiritual food, talking about the word.
It's also physical.
It's also physical.
It's also physical.
Sustenance.
No, I'm just giving you that part of it. We're going to deal with this spiritual. It says pamper, fatten, feed, nourish, with food, etc. It also includes that, because we're going to look at the prophecy in the book of Isaiah 35 that tells us that. So he's going to feed his people with food, both physical and spiritual. That is why we are being given these understandings and these insights. And why there will come a famine of the word where it probably will not be able to go out to others. Because, for example, we have been here, or some of us, almost a year now. And some people still they take this like a, they just come and listen every Shabbat, and they hear, and they're real fat, and they get knowledge. In their conversation with people, they can handle themselves in a conversation. But the word is not doing what the Most High sent it to do, which is to bring forth a conviction leading them to action. Because faith without works is dead. No sense we are here listening every single day, hearing the word, and we just remain in the midst of Babylon, remain in our lives. Nothing has changed. It doesn't make any sense. Okay? So he promises to bring us into the wilderness of the people as well. So there are two aspects, more than one aspect to the wilderness. He will feed, he will nourish us, but these verses that we use, every single teaching we use these verses. We must know them by heart by this. Ezekiel 20 verses 33 to 38. But it's handy for those who do not understand, who have just started listening to us. Ezekiel 20 verse 33. The Most High promised that he would gather us and bring us into the wilderness, where he will sustain us and all of that and fatten us. But there's another aspect to the wilderness. Verse 33.
As I live, says Yahuwah Allur, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, says Yahuwah Allur. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Yasharal, and ye shall know that I am Yahuwah.
This should be the most terrifying verse for those of us who have fled out of Babylon. The most terrifying verse. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Yasharal. Terrifying. This is why we must fear Yahuwah. Because we will be brought out and we'll be thinking, okay, we've made the move. And then, bam, the Most High rejects us. Oh, so we're talking about feeding and pampering. Isaiah 35, start at verse 1. In the wilderness, the Most High will be pampering his people after they have passed through the rod and have overcome the wilderness of the people. Verse 1.
The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose. It shall blossom abundantly, and rejoice even with joy and singing. The splendor of Lebanon shall be given unto it, the excellency of Carmel and Sharon. They shall see the splendor of Yahuwah, and the excellency of our Eluah.
All right, go down to verse 7.
And the parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water. In the habitation of dragons, where each lay, shall be grass with reeds and rushes.
Come to 10.
And the ransomed of Yahuwah shall return, and come to Zion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away.
All right, so this is after they have gone through the wilderness of the people and have overcome and have not been purged. Then the Most High will truly, truly pamper his people.
Songs.
Yeah, with singing.
Keep making up songs.
Yes. You notice? Come to Zion with songs. I never noticed it. Come to Zion with songs. And that is what we're doing. Song, song, song. Singing, singing, singing. And singing about our experience.
But is it no coincidence? There's music playing in the background, and that's the sound of the alarm for them to go and worship Babylon, to drink and get drunk.
Yeah.
That's what King Nebuchadnezzar did. He played the music, and they just
Yeah.
sprang to attention.
Yeah, like zombies. Yeah.
Scary.
We need to get to producing those songs. Anava. That song, we spoke about the song last week and not one action was taken on it. Ah, man. We have too many. And that one about Judah go home. I want that one out as well. Anyway. All right, so in Daniel 7, it spoke about it had 10 horns. And in Daniel 8, it speaks about another little horn. Daniel 7, read from 7 into 8, please. Daniel 7. We're going to look at the little horn. It's going to get a little more difficult, but then it's going to get more revealing as it gets difficult.
What verse are you in?
Daniel 7, verses 7 to 8.
After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
Continue.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns, plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
Remember we spoke about horn being power? Horn being power. Another little horn came up and a mouth speaking great things. This power is going to run through a man. This is the anti-Messiah who will be leading this new world order. So now we're going to go a little more difficult, into more difficult things. The vision of the ram and the goat in Daniel chapter 8, starting at verse 1. Daniel chapter 8, verse 1. And don't worry yourself about this. If you don't understand it, we're going to give the explanation after. Daniel chapter 8, verse 1.
In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass, when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam. And I saw in a vision, and was by the river of Uliah. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beasts might stand before him, neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. But he did according to his will, and became great.
And by the way, these are the Medo-Persians. This ram, the 2 horns, 1 horn for the Medes, 1 for the Persians. Continue.
And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth.
This he-goat here refers to the Greeks, because it was the Greeks who came and defeated the Medo-Persians to take over the world power. Read 5 again, please.
And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. And it came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his 2 horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground, and stamped upon him. And there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceeding great, toward the south, and toward the east, and toward the pleasant land. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself, even to the prince of the host, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down.
All right, this is speaking about Antiochus Epiphanes the 4th. This was he that set up the abomination of desolation on the altar in Jerusalem in the temple. He is the one who magnified himself even to the prince of hosts. Verse 12.
And an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression, and it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice, and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden under foot? And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed.
All right, we're going to look at this as it relates to the abomination of desolation in the end times. This 2,300 days, very significant. We're going to see how it manifests in the end time. We might be reading and we don't understand as it goes. The points are going to come out and you are going to see it. Okay? So, Antiochus Epiphanes, let's read about him and the abomination of desolation. Because the abomination of desolation happened then, 145 BC, I think. And it's going to happen again. And it has happened again, 2019. The abomination of desolation was sacrificed upon the altar once again. Let's go to the book of Maccabees. First Maccabees 1, verse 41 to 64, to see Antiochus Epiphanes and the abomination of desolation. First Maccabees 1, what did I say? 41 to 54? Yeah.
41 to 54.
It's to 64. Go ahead.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
Stop. Nothing has changed. What are they setting up in this world?
A one world order.
One world order. What are they saying? There are no nations. Take away the boundaries. Everyone is what? One. Nothing has changed. Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. What he wanted to do, go back to the days of Nimrod,
Babylon.
of Babylon, when all were of one language and one heart. That is what they are doing today. Everyone is to be one. Verse 42.
And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Shabbat.
Mm-hmm.
For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and to the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land,
Mm-hmm.
and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice, and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Shabbats and festival days.
All right, so this as well, this is the religion of Christianity. All of these things Christianity rebels against. They should profane the Sabbaths and festival days and follow the laws of the Gentiles. Verse 46.
And pollute the sanctuary and set apart people.
Mm-hmm.
Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols,
Mm-hmm.
and sacrifice swine's flesh
Oops.
and unclean beasts.
And sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beast. And this is why Christianity supports the eating of pork. It is an abomination to the Most High, an abomination to his people, and yet that religion of Christianity encourages you to eat swine's flesh and all sorts of unclean beasts. Verse 48.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances.
All right, and this is why we are taught in Christianity that the law is done away with. It is with the intent that we should forget the law and change the ordinances. You see, these books, the book of Maccabees, etc., they don't want you to read these books, because if you read these books, you are going to find out their secrets. You're going to realize that nothing has changed. The same thing that they did back then, it is what they are using Christianity to do with us today. Verse 50.
And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
This is the same thing with Nebuchadnezzar. Same process. Same thing is going to come on the end times. When everything, when people realize what hit them, they are going to be shocked to know how they gave up their liberty and how they have given up their freedom to a few men on this earth. Continue.
In the self-same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city.
Mm-hmm.
Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit every one that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land,
Mm-hmm.
and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor.
Many people are telling you that this is what's going to happen in the end time. Those who refuse to take the mark are going to have to go and flee into secret places, and they will be hunted. And it's going to be easy. As long as you carry a cell phone, it's easy for them to catch you. As long as you have your cell phone with you, they are going to catch you easily. Each one of these has a Mac ID, which is unique. They know you. They know everything. They use this to mark you. They know where you are at all times. So when it's time to really, truly flee, you have to throw this thing away. Yeah. Verse 54.
Now the 15th day of the month of Kislev, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side.
All right, let's stop here. This is the first bomb. The first bombshell here. The first bombshell. the 15th day of the month Kislev, they set up the abomination of desolation. Now, we have been telling people what the abomination of desolation is from ever since 2019. And I don't even know if anyone believes that that is what it is. The combination mark of the beast is the same abomination that makes desolate. Because our body is a temple of the Most High. And if we desolate our bodies, we have desolated the temple.
Yes.
So, the 15th day of the month Kislev, in the 145th year. Which month is the month Kislev? That is the question.
Good question.
Which month is the month Kislev?
Do you know it?
Anyway, before we go there, our bodies are the temples that we're gonna see something. Our bodies are the temples that can be defiled by the abomination of desolation in the latter days. 1 Corinthians 6 verse 19 tells us that our body is the temple of the Most High. The temple was desolated, the physical temple was desolated under Antiochus Epiphanes in Jerusalem. The temples that are going to be defiled today is not a physical temple. It is our bodies that are going to be defiled. 1 Corinthians 6, 19 to 19 alone.
What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Ruach HaKadosh, which is in you, which ye have of Elohim, and ye are not your own?
Our body is the temple. The temple that will be defiled in the end is our body. 1 Corinthians 3 verses 16 to 17.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of Elohim, and that the Ruach of Elohim dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of Elohim, him shall Elohim destroy. For the temple of Elohim is set apart, which temple ye are.
This is why the mark of the beast affects the temple. This is why the abomination of desolation affects the temple. It is the body. That is why Hamashiach said in John 2, 20 to 21. This is what the Messiah said in John 2, 20 to 21.
Then said the Jews, 46 years was this temple in building, and wilt thou rear it up in 3 days? But he spake of the temple of his body.
But he did what?
He spake of the temple of his body.
Of the temple of his body. So this is why now in Revelation 14, 9 to 10, we were warned. Revelation 14, 9 to 10 is our body that will be defiled in the end. Read it, please.
And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Elohim, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the Kadosh angels and in the presence of the Lamb.
So that is why we have this grave pronouncement. It is taking something in our body that will defile our body, which is the temple of the Most High. So let's go now to the month of Kislev.
He knows.
What month is the month of Kislev? The Feast of Dedication, or Hanukkah, is a holy day in that place they call Israel that is kept on the 25th day in the 9th month of the Hebrew year, also known as the month Kislev or Kislev. Now, which month is the 9th month? Let's see which month is the Feast of Dedication kept on the Gregorian calendar. Which month is Kislev on the Gregorian calendar? And we look, the date of the Feast of Dedication or Hanukkah. In 2023, it was from December 7th to the 15th. 2024, December 25th to January 2. 2025, December 14th to 22. 2026, December 4th to 12. 2027, December 24th to January 1st. Kislev is therefore the month of December on the Gentile calendar. So, Antiochus's abomination of desolation was therefore given on the equivalent of the 15th of December 145 BC. Now, can someone tell me?
Are you muted?
Huh?
Are you muted? They're saying that you're muted.
I don't know. On the Zoom?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not even on the Zoom. Am I on the Zoom? Oh, because it kept dropping off, so I didn't even join again. I just wanna go through this and
Recording in progress.
mic check 1 2 1 2. All right, stop recording. All right. So, yeah, we were looking at the month Kislev because for those who missed it on the Zoom, Antiochus sacrificed on the 15th of Kislev, 145 BC, the abomination of desolation. And we are looking at when the month of Kislev is on our calendar today. And it is in the month of December, as you can see. Therefore, Antiochus defiled the temple on the 15th of December, 2000 and where is it? 2000 and 145 BC. I left out something. I left out a clip. I have to put it in. I have to put it in. It will be a pause. I say this. You see this teaching. I got a fight. I can see it. I can see the fight. Everything going wrong. I have to look here again. The internet gone again. Just getting everything that's mixed up. Everything that's trying to get me off. It's serious.
Just record it and put it out.
Yeah, the people in the Zoom, I'm very sorry, but I can't be there paying attention to it. It's throwing off everything. Where was I again? Oh yes. Yes, we need this one. All right. Kislev today. All right. So we're trying to get Kislev. Yeah. Huh? You're picking it up. Oh. Um. Yeah. So we were speaking about the month Kislev and that Antiochus gave us the abomination of desolation on the 15th of December, 145 BC. Can someone guess when the first was given in the United States? United States is the headquarters of Babylon. The abomination of desolation was given by Antiochus Epiphanes on the 15th of December, 145 BC. Guess when the first was given in Babylon? No, you're wrong. This abomination of desolation that was given in the arm was given first to a nurse, a Jamaican nurse in the United States, on the 14th of December, 2019. And you are going to tell me that that is a coincidence. Eh? These people, these Satanists, these Luciferians, they know time. They mark time. Remember, the original calendar was 364 days. If there's a 1 day difference, it's something to do with the calendar. They know. Huh?
With this one, it's just a 1 day.
Just 1 day difference. So they gave the abomination of desolation the 14th of December. Now you can tell me that this is not the abomination of desolation that desolates the temple. Yes? So, let me get this thing going here. So this is serious. So we have a caption on the screen as to when the first. It is December 14th. It's 2020, sorry, not 2019. December 14th, 2020. First, the abomination of desolation. Now, let's see what happened after the abomination of desolation under Antiochus, because it's going to show us what is going to come upon this world. Yes? You have to look at what happened then to see what's going to happen now. First Maccabees 1:55 to 64, the last few chapters. Let's continue.
Verse 55.
Yeah.
And burn incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets.
In other words, all sorts of lawlessness is going to take place in this world. 56.
And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire.
This is a famine of the word. Okay? This is why they're saying that they're going to use artificial intelligence to rewrite the Bible. They are going to try to make sure that we have nothing to do with the law, nothing to do with obedience to the Most High. It has to be obedience to them and them only. Verse 7.
And whosoever was found with any the book of the testament, or of any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death.
All right. Verse 58.
Thus did they by their authority unto the children of Yasharal every month, to as many as were found in the cities. Now the 25th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of Alua.
Somebody explain what that means now. The 25th day of Kislev.
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
Christ Mass.
Merry Christmas. Christmas Day, the 25th day of the month, they sacrifice upon the idol altar. All right? Nothing has changed, people. That is why they gave us this false religion of Christianity to let us worship their idols.
They switch out our feast days for their abominable feasts.
Yeah.
Easter,
Yeah.
Christmas,
Yeah.
and those stuff.
Yeah. They did sacrifice upon the idol altar. So they replaced Yahuwah's business with their corruptions. Verse 60.
At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised. And they hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them.
All right. So you see, we are going to come up in Psalms 137, and we're going to see a punishment that is coming for them, for the children of Edom. And we are going to see why. Just remember this verse. This is why this punishment is coming for them. Because the Most High says, whatever you do is going to be recompensed back unto you. They hanged the infants about their necks, rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. 62.
Howbeit, many in Yasharal were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing.
Not to take the abomination of desolation. Continue.
Wherefore the rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the Kadosh covenant. So then they died.
All right. You see something there? They use food, meat, to defile them back in the days. That is why they are polluting the food, polluting the meat. You're seeing it?
Animals.
Ah. So they preferred to die. So we might look at it and say, what are we to eat? Yeah, we can't eat anything, we have to eat it. These people chose to die, and it is righteous before the Most High to prefer to die than to pollute ourselves. In verse 64.
And there was very great wrath upon Yasharal.
So that's it. In the end time, there's going to be very great wrath upon our people. Okay? So, we're going to start doing some maths. Start doing some maths. Remember, we read about the 2,300 days for the the sanctuary to be cleansed? 2,300 days. That works out to 6 years, 3 months, and approximately 26 days till the sanctuary is cleansed. That is after the abomination of desolation. So after this abomination of desolation has been given out, which was given out in 14th of December 2020, if you count 6 months, 3 days, 3 months, don't know if the count will begin when they have stopped giving this thing in the arm or when they started to begin. But if you count 6 years, you will know when the sanctuary will be cleansed, and you know that is a period of 6 years. So that would be make us to 2026 and change. Yeah. Yeah, so you can't just be grumbling. You have people out there and people in the, are going to be hearing it. So you're going to have our bodies. The sanctuary will be replenished within 6 years, but that 6 years is less than the 7 months that we're going to look at as well. So this comes from the verse, of course, Daniel 8, verse 13. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot? And he said unto me, unto 2,300, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. Okay, so this 2,300 days is from the abomination of desolation. So this would be from the 14th of December. You add 6 years to see how long it takes for it to be cleansed. Don't know what's going to be happening during that time for the cleansing to take place.
But then you'll get people taking hold of that date and sitting back comfortably thinking, I've got 2 years to spare.
No, but how is it cleansed? How is it cleansed? How is it cleansed? You have to give up yourself. The Most High says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and save every man his soul. We read about what was happening with Antiochus, how they went on the people, and there was great wrath upon Yasharal. Most of our people will not survive what is coming when they stay in Babylon.
No.
Most of them will not survive it. It says, remember in the book of 2nd Ezra, it tells you that a man will be so scarce that you will be going into a city and trying to find a man and cannot find a man. That is how it will end up. But those who have been set apart, who have fled out of the midst of Babylon and given themselves over to the Most High to be taken and to be transformed, those people who have successfully not transgressed against the Most High, they will be preserved from the face of the serpent.
Yeah.
Okay? So looking at this date, it is not saying that you have all of this time. It is saying that the Most High will do his cleansing during this time.
Mm.
And how do you cleanse? You cleanse people through what? Fire.
Yeah.
That means if you don't allow yourself to go through fire, you will not be cleansed. What is going to happen through these 6 years is going to be hell on this earth. No doubt. Hamashiach says there will come a time of tribulation that has never seen before and will never, ever be seen ever again. All right? So this vision is for the time of the end. It is for this end of age. Daniel 8:15 to 17.
And it came to pass when I, even I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning, then behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man. And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Ulai, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision. So he came near where I stood, and when he came I was afraid and fell upon my face. But he said unto me, Understand, O son of man, for at the time of the end shall be the vision. Now as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep, on my face toward the ground. But he touched me and set me upright. And he said, Behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation. For at the time appointed, the end shall be.
So this is for the end of this age, at the time appointed. Now, the time of the end is a phrase that I have found only in the book of Daniel. And it is there several times in Daniel 8:17, the time of the end. Daniel 11:35, the time of the end. Daniel 11:40, the time of the end. And Daniel 12:4, time of the end. And Daniel 12:9, the time of the end. Now in Daniel 8:20, it tells us about the end time Messiah. Daniel 8:20 to 26.
The ram,
Hold
which
on. Daniel 8:20 to 26.
the ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia.
And by the way, as you were saying, that people might be laid back. Remember, we have tribulation, half of 7 years.
Yeah.
So, if you look at even the time going up to that time, 2006, 2007, half of it would be what? 2003. Very soon, trouble is coming on this earth if you follow this. If this is right, very soon trouble will be coming.
For them that are holding back.
Yeah. For those who are holding back, and we will not be immune from trouble as well, especially if we don't perfect ourselves.
Yeah.
You see, if we continue with our foolishness, when the time comes, the Most High will leave us up. In the book of Revelation 3, it tells you who he will keep from the time of trouble. Let me go there. Revelation 3, I think it's about 10. Read, please.
Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth.
So if we have not kept the word of his patience, and that is just one attribute, keeping the word of his patience is one. We have to have works. Yeah? We have to have a little strength. And we have to have kept his word. And we have to have not denied his name. And we also have to have kept the word of his patience. When we do all of those, then he will keep us from the hour of temptation. But if we keep fooling ourselves and keep going around and not perfecting ourselves, then he's not a respecter of persons. All right, so let's get back to Daniel 8, verse 19.
And he said, Behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation. For at the time appointed the end shall be. The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Now that being broken, whereas four stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power.
And in the latter time.
And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up.
So you see, when the anti-Messiah is coming, when the evil on this earth has gotten so evil, the Most High says, you are evil? Okay, let me give you an evil leader. And that anti-Messiah is going to come upon this earth and rule this earth with powers that no other man has shown on this earth before. Continue.
And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the Kadosh people.
So this is why you want to stay away from them and this system. He shall destroy the mighty and the set-apart people. So the set-apart people who are there with them, he will destroy them. Verse 25.
And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without
So
hand.
Hamashiach is going to defeat him in the end. It says, by peace shall destroy many. It's this false shalom, this false peace that is upon this earth that is going to use and destroy people. Verse 26.
And the vision of the evening and the morning which was told is true. Wherefore shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days.
For it shall be for many days. So, we looked into the Ancient of Days. And the saints shall inherit the kingdom. We looked at that before. Let me see if there's anything in that that we did not look at. Daniel 7, 9 to 28. I think the Ancient of Days, yes, I looked at that. All right. Start from verse 15. We didn't look at that.
Daniel 7 verse 15. I, Daniel, was grieved in my ruach, in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings which shall rise out of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet.
Mm-hmm.
And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows.
Mm-hmm.
I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them.
There we go again. This is the anti-Messiah that's going to make war with the saints and overcome them. There's no laying back or anything. He's going to prevail against them. In the book of the Ascension of Isaiah, it tells you how he will actually deceive them into thinking that he is the Most High. Verse 22.
Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said,
All
the
right,
fourth...
we read that already, didn't we? Yeah. Yeah, we read that already. Okay. So let's go now. We just laid that what we just laid is a foundation now to get into Daniel chapter 9, 24 to 25, the 7 weeks and the 62 weeks. So the 62 weeks of old, let's look at it. 62 weeks of old after Daniel spoke. Now, the kingdom was repaired under, was it Zerubbabel and Yahusha? Zerubbabel the governor and Yahusha the high priest. But it was destroyed. Was it destroyed by Babylon? And it was Nehemiah who repaired the temple sometime between 424 and 465 BC. Nehemiah is a central figure of the book of Nehemiah, which describes his work in rebuilding Jerusalem during the Second Temple period. He was governor of Persia and Judea under Artaxerxes of Persia, 465 to 424. Now, 62 weeks. Let's do some maths. Let's do some maths. 62 weeks. Some of the things that I put, I can't see them. Where are they? This is crazy. I put them up and now I don't see them. Let's do some maths. 62 multiplied by 7. Let me go back to the Daniel 9. Everything was so well laid out. Daniel 9, 24. Daniel 9, 24. Huh? Yeah. Um Daniel 9, 25. This is what we're looking at.
Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times.
All right. Unto the Messiah. 62 weeks. 62 weeks is 62 multiplied by 7, which is 434. And if you look into the time of Nehemiah or Nehemiah, he lived 465 to 424. He worked under Artaxerxes from 465 to 424, which is 424 years to 465, which includes the 434 years. So this is the 62 weeks of old. But we are more focused on the 62 weeks today. So go back to Daniel 9, 24. You have to look carefully now, people. Look carefully now. It says, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy set apart city. You know that I had the maths laid out so nicely so everybody could understand it clearly. Where is it? 70 weeks. 70 weeks are how many days? How many years? 70 by 7 is how much?
470.
No, sir. That doesn't sound right.
490.
490. 490 years. 490 years. So, what 490? It is 490 years has been allotted to your people. To do what? Go back to Daniel 9:24. To finish the transgression. That means after the 424 years, the transgression that is upon our people, the captivity, will be done in 490 years. To make an end of sins, sins will be done in 490 years. To make reconciliation for all of our iniquity, 490 years. To bring in everlasting righteousness, 490 years. To seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy, 490 years. Now, in prophecy, the Most High uses 400 years to signify our captivity in the United States. But that was not the beginning of our captivity. Our people started in captivity. Let's see a Google of the term, when did African slaves start being shipped to the Americas? And we get this. In the 16th century. The Portuguese in the 16th century were the first to buy slaves from West African slavers and transport them across the Atlantic. In 1526, they completed the first transatlantic slave voyage to Brazil, and other Europeans soon followed. Now, if you check 1526 to today, how many years is that, Amikai? I left out the maths. This is incredible. How many days? Remember, 490 days are allotted to us. How many days is that? 1526 to now is 497 years. Okay? Now, when you take into consideration, they might be lying as to the exact date. They might be approximating the exact date. The difference is in calendar. Then we see that the time of our transgression, we are at that time. Because it's actually showing us that we are 7 years over. You understand? Are you understanding? You understanding, George?
I think so.
490 years has been allotted to our people. That means our people will be sent into captivity for 490 years. And it has been 497 years that they have recorded that our people have been in captivity, in slavery. So we are right in that time frame. Okay? That is the 70 weeks. So look at the maths here. It shouldn't be 40 weeks here. It's 70 weeks. 70. Why am I doing with 40 here? I love 40. 70 weeks equal 70 years times 7 equal 490 years. 1526, when the first slave started coming across this, is 490 years. 97 years. Making adjustments for man's error in reporting dates and the disparity between the Most High's calendar and the world's calendar, we see we are right at the end of our 490 years, or the 70 weeks of Daniel. Right there. So, some of the things here are so missing. So, let's go back now to Daniel 9:26.
And after 62 weeks shall Mashiach be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined.
So what is it saying here? After 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. 62 weeks is how many? 434 years. And the people of the prince, I don't think I'd work this one out. And the people of the prince that shall come, this is the anti-Messiah, Antichrist, shall destroy the sanctuary. This is the abomination of desolation that we put in our bodies. And it says, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, which is the great tribulation that is coming. The flood here refers to a deluge. It does not refer to a literal flood at all times. Shall be with a flood. The word flood there is a deluge, literally or figuratively. So this speaks of a time of trouble. And unto the end of the war, desolations are determined. So in the end time, it will be a very, very serious time. And verse 27.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
So he will confirm the covenant for 1 week. 1 week is 7 years. And in the midst of the week, he will cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate. So what is it saying here? The last 7 years, the abomination of desolation will come in the middle of 7 years. You see it? It will come in the middle of 7 years. You can work it out for yourself. No more working out for me. Work it out for yourself. And for the overspreading of abominations shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So those who are desolate, the consummation will be poured out upon them. And where do we see that? Pouring out of the desolation. It's in Revelation 16. Let's start at verse 1. Those who are desolate, consummation will be poured out on them. Revelation 16, verse 1 to 2.
And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of Yahuwah upon the earth. And the first went, and poured out his vial upon the earth. And there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image.
So here it is. This is what it's talking about in Daniel. Let's go back. For the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. This is a consummation that will be poured out upon the desolate. Okay? So, all right. The last 7 years of our age. Remember, he says in Daniel, you go back to Daniel 7, verse 25. Hope it won't be too hard to understand for some people. 25.
And he shall speak great words.
Daniel 9:25.
Sorry. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The streets shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times.
All right, so there is a 7 weeks period. That 7 weeks is 49 years, which actually refers to a 49 years, which actually refers to the edge of a jubilee, because 50 years is a jubilee. So 49 years and the 50th year is a jubilee. Man, I had a calculation in here that is so critical to understand, and I don't see it at all. Man. Because I calculated it and showed. Oh boy. I calculated it and showed what did I calculate? Is it 70 weeks? And showed that, let me see if I can do it again. Let me go back to Daniel 9:24. Let me see if I can do it out of my head. Boy, this teaching got really, really touched, really attacked. Let me see if I can do it out of my head. From Daniel 9:25, I think. From verse 24. 70 weeks are determined. That's 7 sevens, 49, right? Okay?
Yeah.
So work with me. From the time going forth of the commandment to restore and to build the Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks. 7 weeks is 7 times 7, which is 49. Minus 49 from 490. You did that? So we have 490, which is 70 weeks. And we have 7 weeks here, which is 49 minus that from 490. You done that? Then we have 62 weeks, 62 weeks, which is 62 times 7. How much is that? You done that? How much do you get? All right, let me do it myself because I'm depending on you all and not, but everybody just looking. All right, 70 weeks are determined on your people. That's 70 times 7 equals 490 years. Verse 25 tells you From the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the prince, shall be 7 weeks. 7 weeks is 7 times 7 equal 49. 490, which is 70 weeks, minus 49, which is 7 weeks, equals 441 years. It says, shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. 62 weeks is 62 weeks, which in years is 62 times 7, which is 434. Right? So 434, and that was the answer. 434 minus 441. This is why you never gave me. 441 that was left from the 70 weeks minus the 7 weeks, left 441 minus the 62 weeks now, which is 434. We are left with what? 7 years. 7 years. Now, what is that 7 years in the end time? Let's look at it. 7 years will be left in the end time before Hamashiach returns. Let's go to the last 7 years of our age. Let's see what the word says about the last 7 years of our age. Matthew 24, 21 to 22. Matthew 24, 21 to 22. Matthew 24, 21 to 22. Go ahead, please.
For then shall be great tribulation,
Last 7 years. Go ahead.
such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
So what we are showing is that the days will be shortened. It will be 7 years, but the 7 years will be shortened. Daniel 9:27. Daniel 9:27, which is the region where we're coming from. Days will be shortened, and here's how it will be shortened.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week.
7 years. This is the 7 years. The last 7 years, the anti-Messiah is going to come and confirm the covenant for 7 years. Continue.
And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
So can use the abomination of desolation and know the approximate time that we are in. Okay? Judge for yourself. I won't tell you. Judge for yourself. Daniel 7:25. More about the last 7 years of this earth. Daniel 7:25. Before Hamashiach returns. Read, please.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hands until a time and times and the dividing of time.
You see it? You will have 7 years, but the saints will be given in his hand for the last 3.5 years. Now, if you subtract the abomination of desolation, you will know how close we are. He says, no man knows the day, the time, or the hour, or the day or the hour, but he has given us clues to know the season. Okay? Look at it carefully. Last 3.5 years is when the saints will be given in his hands. Saints have not yet been given into his hand. We are not yet in his hand. Okay? But the last 3.5 years is very, very close here. Close to it. Revelation 12:14. Let's read about what is going to happen in the last 7 years, or more realistically, the last 3.5 years. Revelation 12:14.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent.
So the Most High is going to have some of his people who is going to hide from the face of the serpent. When the anti-Messiah, Antichrist, is doing his thing on the earth, these people will be hidden from the serpent. And that is why he tells us to flee out of the midst of Babylon. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Those who obey him and dwell in his secret place, he will protect from the face of the serpent. So let's just look. We are getting there now. We're almost finished. Let's look at what happens next. Because remember, it says that the sanctuary will be cleansed in 6 years, I think 3 months or something like that. What's going to happen between the time of the cleansing and the return of the Messiah? What's going to happen? The end time rebuilding of the physical temple. Because our body is the temple of Ruach HaKadosh, the Holy Spirit, because the Messiah is not here with us. And so his Spirit is in us through the operation of the Father. But when he returns, he's going to return as a physical man to rule the world in the temple on earth. Therefore, the temple has to be built for the prince. And if you go to the book of Ezekiel, starting from chapter 40 to about chapter 47, it tells you in detail about that temple that will be rebuilt for the Messiah. But in the book of Isaiah, it tells you about this rebuilding process. Before Hamashiach returns, we, the people, the children of the Most High, will rebuild the temple, preparing for his return. Isaiah 61 verses 4 to 6.
And they shall build the old wastes. They shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations.
That is the rebuilding of the temple and the city itself. Continue.
And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your ploughmen and your vine dressers. But ye shall be named the priests of Yahuwah. Men shall call you the ministers of our Oluwa. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their splendor shall ye boast yourselves.
All right. So that is it. The temple will be rebuilt just before the Messiah returns. Amos 9:11 to 12 tells us.
In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom, and of all the heathen which are called by my name, says Yahuwah that doeth this.
All right. Edom, that is called by my name. Before we go, we have to actually show the part that Edom plays, because we read how the children of Edom, what the children of Edom actually did through Antiochus Epiphanes, how they hanged the infants who were circumcised, etc. So we have to actually show a little of what is going to come to them and for them. First, Esdras 4, verse 45, because we are talking about the restoration of the temple. First, Esdras 4, verse 45. The restoration of the temple. Hold on, please. First, Esdras 4. What did I say?
Verse 45.
Oh, verse 45. Go ahead, please.
Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldees.
Who burnt the temple?
The Edomites.
Whoa. You see why, going back out of Babylon, we cannot have any of our people join to the children of Edom. They burned the temple. Yes? The Most High is going to touch them up for what they have done. Psalms 137, let's start at verse 5. That Psalms 137 is by the rivers of Babylon. Psalms 137. We're going to see the connection between the children of Edom and Babylon. This is why you cannot leave out of Babylon and enter the kingdom married to a child of Edom. Psalm 137, verse 5. We're going to see the connection between Edom and Babylon because Edom are the ones who run Babylon today. Verse 5. Read please.
If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy.
All right.
Remember, O yahuwah, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
David is saying, don't forget these children of Edom. Yeah? Who said, raise it, burn it down, as we say in Jamaica. Burn it, even to the foundation. And here is the connection now between Edom and Babylon. Edom is synonymous with Babylon. Verse 8.
O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us.
Daughter of Babylon, the children of Edom. Continue.
Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
So this is what we're talking about. This is a justification. Because they took our children and hung them and all of that. He says, happy shall he be that taketh thy little ones and dash it against the stones. So, that is why it says in Amos that the Edomites will be servants to the Most High, will be possessed, will be owned. The remnant, there will be a remnant who the Most High leaves to be possessed by the children of Yasharal. So after the 4 years, the last 7 years, then the temple will be rebuilt, preparing for the coming of the Messiah. Then there will be the year of Jubilee when the Messiah will return. He will return in a year of Jubilee. A Jubilee is 50 years. And we don't know when the Jubilee is because those who say they are Jews and are not, they have their own way of checking time. And they think their Jubilee was in about the 80s or 90s or whatever, which would be wrong. But when the Messiah returns, that will be the beginning of a Jubilee because of what the Torah says. Leviticus 25, 8-13. This should be the last place we end. Leviticus 25, 8-13.
And thou shalt number 7 Shabbats of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years. And the space of the 7 Shabbats of years shall be unto thee 49 years.
All right, so these are 7 weeks, right? 49 years. So we have 62 weeks and the 7 weeks, and then we have the 7 years now. That 7 years is the last preparation for the Messiah. Continue.
Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land.
So it's the day of atonement. It appears that a Mashiach will be putting in his appearance. The day of atonement is a day when we think about the atonement that the Messiah made for our sins. Okay? And it says, you shall blow the trumpet the 10th day of the 7th month. Continue.
And ye shall hallow the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof.
So this is why we believe that this year is a year of the return of the Messiah. Proclaim liberty or freedom throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. We're going to see other elements. Continue.
It shall be a jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man unto his possession.
Every man unto his possession.
And ye shall return every man unto his family.
And this is what happens when the Messiah returns. Every man shall return to his possession, and every man to his family. So we are returning to our land and to our family, because we will be gathered together and we will be made to know our true family. We will be divided up into tribes, and we'll know which tribe is which tribe and which tribe is not. All right? All right, so that's it. What we have for today. Proof we're at the end, at the time of the end. Daniel's 70-week prophecy reveal. I only hope that brought something out for someone. I think to me it is really confirmation of what the Most High has been showing us for some time, and that we are actually truly in the end of the age, and we don't have much time remaining. All right, you can do your own calculations if you want to base on this and check it out, but that is what I have seen and what has been revealed. All right, anyone had anything to say or ask or? All right, so thank you here for being with us. Thank you here for watching. This is Kazak Aliyahu. This was a very rough teaching, so many mistakes, so many things left out, all sort of things. But nothing happens by chance, I guess. All right, so until next time, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.